Hello, hello.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Awkward Sibling Hour. All right.
Now with 100% more sibling.
I have it on the TV, so I know it's working. And turning the sound down. Yep. Doing great today. All right. Today we've got, of course, Tom. We've got Charlie. I'll eventually get this. Charlie and Sid. I'm like, I suddenly just had a, how does direction work? And the lovely Sid.
Just remember, everything on StreamYard works like reality, backwards and inside out.
Yeah. For some reason, it took me 3 years to learn to reverse in the Plymouth Fury. When my father was teaching me to drive. Yeah. Okay. So, let's see. We've got, hi, CB. Lovely to see you. And, yep, all the rest are Tom. That is Tom. That is Tom. That is CB. Brain is fright. Welcome to the club, babe. Wow. We are all just barely here today. My theory goes like this. Hey, if there's more of us, the load is, distributed. And of course, could it be an awkward sibling hour without technical difficulties? No,
Never.
I don't think so. And so therefore, we are still having technical difficulties. So Tom may come in and out. I might come in and out. Who knows? Whoever's left standing will get, the show like Highlander.
Sid, prepare yourself. It may be.
You may be.
Maybe just you and I.
Yeah.
Standing. No promises. It's like, well, I just remembered I have to go. Bye-bye now. Anyway, so here we are. It's Awkward Sibling Hour. Today we're going to talk about TV shows. And, so things. Anybody have any thoughts?
I have all the thoughts. Every one of the thoughts simultaneously. They're kind of like the Three Stooges trying to get through the door at the same time.
Yeah. Me like on a good day?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Every time I think about television, for me, it's always about like those first moments of like seeing myself or a character that I could identify with.
Right.
And unfortunately, because of my generation, the first person I ever identified with on television was Snagglepuss. Does anybody even remember Snagglepuss?
Yes. Really? Okay.
So, first time I ever saw anybody that looked like me, because he didn't like getting into fights, and he always was like interested in the way things looked and acted, and just like,
okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
He taught me about stage directions.
Exactly. Exit, stage right.
I grew up really loving watching, what was it, Wacky Races.
Oh my goodness, yes.
The Wacky Races.
Yes, the Wacky Races. And between him and the Great Gazoo,
yes,
like there wasn't a lot for people like me.
Oh, I love the Great Gazoo. Oh yeah.
Because if you try to tell me that Gazoo was not a fabulous non-binary queer character who just floated around and read everyone for filth 24/7 for his own delight,
right,
you have not watched that show. You do not know the Flintstones.
Oh my God! I mean,
I
wanted to be Gazoo when I grew up.
It does bring up a fun question I always had with people of, was the Great Gazoo Q in a different guise?
Oh!
And so does that mean the Flintstones and Jetsons are part of the Star Trek universe?
Okay, so I may or may not have once been at a convention with that John Delancey was at, and somebody who could perform the Great Gazoo's voice very, very well did a whole skit with him of the Great Gazoo and Q going at it. Like, trying to outdo each other. Wonderful. So in my head canon, yes. I heard John Delancey's voice as part of it. Yes, it's canon. It's 100% out.
Like that the Great Gazoo is part of the Q continuum.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, at the very least.
At the very least.
Yes, I'm very on board for this.
Along with, what was it, Mr. McPixelix?
Yes.
One? Which
Superman's
Yes.
the one from Superman, the fifth dimensional being.
Who's basically Rumpelstiltskin? You
Yeah.
make him go away by saying his name backwards.
must have missed this one.
Oh,
is that from the DC stuff
Yep.
Yes.
or
Yep.
the older?
Yeah.
DC.
Because like
Yeah.
I am so old. I remember the old reruns of the Superman cartoon that was like from 1.5 million years ago, when like Superman not only looked gorgeous and cut out of cream cheese, but only had like 3 emotions. Because
Yes.
he's a golem anyway, so it would make sense that he doesn't really have an emotional range. And of course, that's what I related to, honestly.
Oh my god.
Because like for me growing up, I did not have much emotional processing. My emotional processing abilities really only came into their own in my late 20s. But before that, yeah, I did get the whole, don't you have feelings? Why are you so ruthless? And so, yeah, I could totally relate to Superman because, like, yes, I wish to just turn the world back around. Forget these stupid people. Because I didn't quite know cursing yet. I thought the word Baxter was a bad word. Because I have auditory dyslexia as well, so I had misheard the few times I have overheard people whispering.
That may have to become a thing in several of my settings.
Baxter.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. How is it used? Is it like you're a Baxter or
Yes.
Baxter?
Like any way you would use the word bastard, that was
Okay.
how I used it because I thought that's what the people were saying when they used, but they
Consider
were like,
that stolen. That is too awesome. I'm gonna
Yes, write it down.
Yes.
I'll be happy to share it later if you need. Let's see. CV says, I'm learning the Flintstones theme on Claire. Oh, that is awesome. Will you be sharing that on your YouTube channel at some point?
Yeah, like that sounds fun.
I really want to hear that. Very much, please. Let me know. I'll set up my notifications so the little bell rings for me. Maybe. I mean,
I still haven't gotten the notification that I'm doing this yet. So,
Same.
yeah, I didn't get notifications yesterday for any of the stuff that I'd specifically told it, like set reminder. I didn't get a single one of yesterday, so I missed several things that I was actually looking forward to. In fact, I've missed a bunch of things all weekend because I haven't gotten notifications most of the weekend for hardly anything. And then this morning, all of a sudden, I had waiting for me like tons of notifications for stuff that had already happened, like at least in the past 12 to 24 hours.
but YouTube's not broken.
Oh, no, they're perfectly fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Hello, Monroe. Hello, darling. How is school? Are you surviving? We are all trying our best. By the way, please feel free to jump in at any time and interrupt me. I'm that kind of person. Just there's no being polite here, Sid.
Because
Just get it out because there's never going to be a space.
I didn't know what you guys were talking about. So then, like, I was looking it up and I said, oh my goodness, I know the little green guy.
Yep.
Yeah, everybody knows the Great Gatsby, whether they realize it or not. Because he even shows up, or there's a reference, homage to him in The Simpsons, even. I can't remember if it's more than once or just the one time, and I've seen it on repeat. Because I am that kind of gal. But, yeah, everybody's kind of culturally familiar, at least in America, I say. I grew up after school watching Flintstones on reruns.
Oh yeah. And then wondering why spousal abuse was the coolest thing ever. Because that show had some problems. It inherited some stuff from the Honeymooners.
Yeah, It is very problematic. Although I will say Wilma and Betty have some interesting character development in the later seasons that in no way are reflected in the earlier seasons. Like you could tell, like women's liberation started showing up at the end of Flintstones.
Yeah.
But
could I just say, going to the gay bars in the 90s, everybody was arguing who was Betty Rubble. Like Betty Rubble was our goddess of all slapbacks because Betty took no guff from nobody. Whatever you did to her, she was coming at you. She was coming.
I mean, that's how I got into wearing blue was because Betty wore it. I didn't want, to be a blonde or a redhead. I wanted to be a brunette with like really dark, like black hair because Betty had that. Oh yeah, Betty didn't take shit from anybody.
Nobody.
And she was so smart that she could outthink everyone. I think she even outthinks the Great Gazoo at one point.
Yep.
When he's got Barney over a barrel.
Literally doing nothing untoward.
I always kind of wondered if Betty had a secret life.
Well, see, what we forget about the Flintstones, because it was repackaged as children's content, is it was originally, like The Simpsons, cartoons for adults. It was the first try at this thing that we have now with all of the, Lower Decks and all of the shows that are, the Family Guys and all that. And because it got repackaged for children, we don't allow ourselves to see all of the weird innuendo that show had.
Oh, God.
Yes, we would love to see.
Yes, that would be awesome.
Yes, we all vote for this. Aw, everything's fine. Everything's okay. The fire, ignore it. Yeah, we're there. We're all in 2020. Yes, it's fan fiction at times.
That's why they all just went over to AO3.
Yes.
I know none of those fan fiction sites.
Really?
I just seen someone do a video and they was talking about AO3, fanfic.net. There's like another one. I don't know. So, right. Okay. I might delay this just a little bit from TV to writing. So I never really wrote like fanfic started out with writing. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know if people started with that. And I hear all these websites. I'm like, how come ain't nobody told me this? So,
yeah. Why is Sid the last to get the memo? Yeah. No, I only know about AO3 because of Tom.
Yeah. There's actually a weird 25-year history about fan fiction on the internet that eventually led up to AO3 because they kept getting taken down. Even though you talk to people like, my favorite is Neil Gaiman, talking about his literal first couple stories were fanfic that he changed the names on and never got called on. Of like, this is just what you start with when you start writing because the world's already established. There's nothing wrong with fanfic. Unless, you're dealing with crazy bitches. Like people who love vampires too much.
Or then you have the issues of like everything that went down with Cassandra Clare and all that with the Harry Potter thing. And fanfic is a whole like drama channel in and of itself.
I know. It's even more drama than the makeup YouTube channels.
And how is that even possible? I mean, for goodness sake.
Why does BeautyTube have so much? Anyway. Yeah.
I love BeautyTube of I'm not going to talk shit about someone and then the next words out of their mouth.
I don't even really watch the regular beauty tutorials because nobody seems to do makeup like I do on YouTube that I found. So I'm like, what do I care if you don't apply the same way I do? Because I have a limited number of paintbrush strokes.
You do watch one, Glory. You watch one.
Oh, you mean John McClane?
Yeah.
Who only posts once a year, Tom. It doesn't count.
He's already posted most of, the stuff for you to do makeup.
Yes. I mean, like, yes. Although all of his stuff that he uses is now discontinued, so I'm having to, like, look. I love John McClane. I love his films and everything else. He's adorable, and I love his color theory. I could go on forever, but he posts, like, once or twice a year, and I cannot keep, like, I need more makeup than that. But anyhow. Otherwise, I mean, like I just saw a headline today, YouTube's villain, Jeffree Star, got so much in PPE loans or something. And I'm like, when did Jeffree Star, was it Jeffree Star? Yeah.
Yes.
Become a villain of a platform?
Well, ever since I first saw his first video, because me and my house daughter used to get into it, because I'm like, you are not listening to that trashy music in my house. You are not going to be bringing that person's makeup in this house. He is a terrible, terrible, terrible person. And now I'm just sitting in her drama videos going, see, it's all coming out. Everybody's got the receipts of him using the N-word and everything else.
Oh, yeah.
See, I told you he was trash. Ugh.
I know, and he really does give us pale people a bad name. And I'm like, dude, yeah, please stop making skin color political, you little shit.
And he gives queer people a bad name because he keeps trying to pass it off as I'm not being racist. That's just my culture.
Yeah.
Oh, honey, we don't talk like that.
That's right there with the whole, it's because I'm autistic. That's why I'm an asshole.
That is our biggest complaint with autism memoirs. It's like, you may be autistic, but you're just an asshole in this book. That is not autism.
Yeah.
Being an asshole is separate from autism. Trust me on this one. Of all the things, trust me on this one thing. Yes. Yes. All right, let's see where we are. Yeah, there's a kitty with an opinion to voice.
She's opinionated AF today.
I love it when cats are like, meow, meow. Okay, I don't watch makeup tutorials because I always get really bored, so I don't know how to make. It's okay. You know what? Makeup is just something fun to do.
Although, really, John McLean, even, he brings in models for, the darker complexions even to show you how to do it. And
his color theory, I really do actually like. And that's timeless contouring and stuff.
I know. I'm picking up on that, CB, because I'm not so much a Captain America fan as I am a Chris Evans fan. And may I just take a moment to say thank you, Chris Evans, for the wonderful gift that you have given us.
He is the finest of the Chris's.
I'm fond of many of the Chris's. There's one Chris that can just burn because I don't like him.
Yes, same.
The other Chris's, I'm fine.
Yeah,
but
he is the finest of. I mean, like, he's just, yes. I was like, Tom, find the dark web, find his picture.
I'm just saying, for anybody who doesn't understand the greatness that is Chris Evans, just look up Chris Evans on anxiety, where he talks about his own anxiety issues and the things that he does to get through it. It's my calm place.
I loved recently the little video that showed up of, like, in Australia, someone, I think, some news crew, Weather Channel, showed up to just do some weather talk in front, I think, of his property where his horses are. Like, not his house or anything, but just where the horse barn was.
Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth. Yeah.
Yeah, and he just walks out, and he's like, "Hey, guys." And they're like, "Oh,
so lonely, Tom. Not handle the quarantining. He just...
And then you're like, "Hey, do you want to, help us do the weather?" He's like, "Yeah, let's go mispronounce some, city names."
It is a really great video.
I know what I'm going to be looking up soon.
Yes, it is definitely worthwhile watching. Yes, I saw it on Twitter.
Poor Sid. I can just feel it now. You're like, what did I get myself into?
Yes. Let's bring up the younger people stuff. I'm so sorry, Sid.
Hey, why don't I admit right now, Sid, it's so interesting seeing where I can see your face, where you're front lit. Because I'm used to seeing you with just the lights behind you on and nothing in front. And I keep joking with Glory. I just keep waiting for Sid to all right, Sid, break down those conspiracy theories. Tell me what's been really going on.
I would pay for that channel. If you made a fans only that was just Sid explains conspiracy theories, I would be there for it.
Yes. I mean, I will admit, I enjoy listening to Sid talk. And yes, if he's just just no lighting up front and just backlit, talking about all the conspiracy theories you need to know in writing world. And I'm like, yeah, please. I will be here. I will be here for this, Sid. We can.
No, I don't know beauty tube like that. I don't really like any of them in general, but I know she got solved when I just put water down my back and it was like freezing cold water. So So,
the killer is above you, Sid. The killer is above you. Move out of the way.
So I was just trying to put this behind my back just to roll it, without trying to be obvious. And then I guess I put the cap on all the way. So I just felt a gush of water. I was like, ooh, okay. And
refreshing.
So.
Oh, Sid. I think it's that kind of Monday for almost everybody.
It is.
Yeah. I slept through my first 3 alarms today. And that's why I was still putting on makeup when we were ready to go live. I'm like, oh, well, this is it.
I woke up late. I stayed up late. But I woke up late because I was just like, it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I had like, yeah, it's just that sort of day. We're just all gonna chill and jam, and I don't know. But no, like honestly, I mostly only know about beauty tuber drama because there are people that sort of do like the soup for beauty tube drama, where they do recaps and do all the research for you, so you don't have to go to Reddit or wherever they're throwing shade and talking about people behind their back, and they'll tell it to you. And sometimes for some reason YouTube recommends that to me, and that's how I have sort of gotten sucked into the drama of places that I do not normally frequent. And that's the only reason why I have a clue, because I am not about to actually watch these people just go at it.
I feel that.
That's what D'Angelo Wallace is for.
I got sucked in with, what is her name? Vangela something? I'm kind of wondering if she's Irish or Russian. I can't tell. And that's saying a lot because there's not a lot of similarity in the Irish and Russian phonies. But I can't quite tell.
Because D'Angelo Wallace is my happy place because I find his voice eminently soothing and the stuff that he talks about to be utter trash fires. And so depending on the mood that I'm in that second, I can either be relaxed or like, oh, girl, did that happen? Like, just dependent. So, yeah. But
Okay.
yeah, that's how I keep up with BeautyTube.
Real quick. So CB says, in the 1940s, when CAP was around, women were not treated very well by men, and I pointed that out. And you're number one, absolutely true. And number two,
Very true.
I really like get the impression, because yes, I did used to own a comic book shop a million years ago, and
You owned everything.
in Mississippi, you have to work really hard to be able to like get a livable income, and I'm willing to try anything. But
Preach.
yes, it's not like I own it for that long, because it only took me about a year and a half to figure out that there's no way to actually break even when Diamond is running the show.
Yep.
And so that
That's
was
why
like my biggest money sink I've ever done in my entire life. Frankly, I'm still
God.
recovering from the debt of like
Yeah.
$150,000, $200,000. I'm still
That's why collectibles and secondhand comics are such a big thing in comic shops, because
Yeah.
but that
like
is
video
the comic
stores?
shop. Buying people's used, their comic books when they would sell them back for store credit is actually how I was able to, as a gift to Tom, collect most of the Sandman series and all the offshoot sub-series, because
And the
people
books
would
of
bring them
magic.
in. Oh, yeah, books. I was like, there's bunches of them. At the time, I didn't know anything about any of this. I didn't know who Neil Gaiman was. I just knew Tom liked Sandman or magic, because he had shown me once.
The books of
Yes.
magic. What?
Yeah, it was one of the comic books with death, where she, essentially has a center story.
The High Price of Living, I think, in that.
And because he was
I
like,
love the High Price
she
of
really
Living.
reminds me of you, Gloria. Here, I think you might like this one. And that was
yeah,
actually,
you remind me a lot of Death. You really do. You really do.
you're only the second person who's ever said that, because Tom was it. And I was like, okay, let me see who this person is. And I read it, and that's how I knew that he liked Sammy. Because I was like, oh, do you like this? He said, yeah. And then it was like, I don't know what, a year later that I had the comic book shop. And so I thought, how cool would it be to be able to get all of the comic books for Tom as like a big surprise gift. The stack at the time, and this is the early to mid 2000s, was this tall after a year of collecting it was literally this tall. And now it's, whatever. I'll tell you, I do like Lucifer, the comic book version of Lucifer.
The comic, I like both, but if I can just put a shout out here, because it's kind of TV related. If anybody has an Audible account, or because it's an exclusive because they paid for it to be made, they're turning the Sandman into an audio drama. Neil Gaiman is reading it as narrator. They have James McAvoy playing Morpheus. James McAvoy is Dream, and he is so good at playing Dream. Taron Egerton is playing John Constantine in it, and Kat Dennings is Death. And
Nice.
I only bought it because when they had a sample up where you could hear it just said Death calls Morpheus out, and I'm like, if this isn't good, the whole thing's gonna be terrible.
Agreed.
It is so good. It is so good. It is so good.
But
Like,
yeah, that was how I got into it, was through Tom. I mean, like, honestly, most of the cool stuff in my life is frankly through Tom. Tom's the one who actually got me to really read Robert Heinlein.
oh,
Because again, people kept coming up to me at sci-fi conventions saying, "Have you ever read To Sail Beyond the Sunset? Because you remind me so much of the main character." And it was always like older men in their 50s and 60s. And I was like, I don't know whether to be insulted or complimented. And Tom was like, it's probably mostly a compliment. But he was the one who actually had a copy. And when I was finally in the mood, he's like, here, read it. And I was like, oh my God, it is me. I feel so seen and a little bit attacked. So, but I do actually recommend the book. But yes, people live in their fantasies about their favorite characters. And it does show like their blind spots. I mean, honestly, Captain America in the 40s definitely reflects America's attitudes about women, about everybody.
Yeah.
And good or bad, that's how it is. It's an artifact of a previous time, and we need to recognize and accept it and drag Captain America into the 21st century with us.
and
Writing time.
But
What?
Writing time.
Oh, writing time. It's when let's pull up a timer. Because I forgot again. Talk amongst yourselves.
we're actually writing. Oh,
Well, not really.
I agreed to this because I thought we were just going to be chatting for a couple hours. Okay, I can get some work done.
What we've learned is Tom needs like 15 to 20 minute breaks about at least once an hour, or he like flags quick.
Yeah,
And-
I really am an introvert.
Yes. And so we figured maybe other people might need like puttering time / bathroom break time / go get some food, go get some water, go get a beer, a cocktail, whatever. Do you?
So, Meat said, hi, I am an introvert as well.
Aw.
As much of a big personality that I have, I am, as y'all can tell, I get a little bit shy and I do drink up a little bit.
And real quick, fun fact, there is an actual scientific test to find out if you're an introvert.
I would love
Share
to
this
see what I can prove to people. Like, if you can give me that test, I will prove it to people. No one believes me.
Same
All
here.
right, it's really simple. I was surprised when I found it like 6 months ago, but this is how scientists test if you're an introvert. Just take a slice of lemon, bite into it, and then see if you salivate or if you hypersalivate. If you have to start swallowing your saliva, you're an introvert. They do it based on how much saliva you produce. I don't know why, but it's a weird relation that...
As somebody who's taken way too many shots in their life, I can say that I passed the introvert test.
But yeah, apparently normal people only salivate, a normal amount when they have lemon. Introverts just start.
I think introverts are normal. They're just, it's extroverts
Well-
versus ambiverts and introverts.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I can honestly tell you when Tom was a little boy, I love him. So I'm talking about like 5-year-old little boy. He would try to kiss me and it was just like slobber just all the way down. His mouth was so watery. It was just like, no.
Can I just say this is the first time I'm realizing that that's not the common reaction? Like, I thought everybody's mouth just went like, get the lemon out. Like, I thought that was just like how everybody was until now. Wow.
Some people's
No,
mouths
if anything,
actually
my
start
mouth
to
dries
dry.
up a little bit with lemon.
Really?
Yes. Welcome to Discovering Ourselves with,
Yeah.
with
This
Tom.
is why
Charlie.
I enjoy this live stream. I learn so much every single time.
We do like trivia.
Wow.
It's true. All
I'm
right.
about to go grab a lemon when we start to sprint.
All right, everybody. Go ahead and slice up. You've got 15 minutes. And then, maybe put some in your water or whatever you want to do. Or, I don't
Right.
know, pour a glass of tequila.
If I have some.
Monday evening. You'll be fine.
Wow.
All right, we got Sid's lovely timer. I'm not saying that I love it best because it's purple's my favorite color, and it's glory. Maybe. Anyhow, so let's get started. We'll see y'all back here in 15 minutes. And we're back. All right. So, how is everybody doing?
I am wondering if the
And did anybody else go get a lot? Tom went and cut it. Yeah, my mouth gets dry when I lick it.
Oh,
It gets tight and dry.
yeah.
Nope. And you just like.
I love lemon. I love lime.
Yeah.
I love acidity, but I do.
Yeah. Oh, I am like crazy into lemons and limes. Like it's sometimes I go to like a restaurant and it's like, just bring a whole cut lemon for me. Thank you so much. Like Tom knows. Like I will put them all in my drink before we leave. Like all of them will eventually get there.
Mhm.
Tom made me a drink. He found a Cayman Jack's in the back of the fridge. Have y'all ever had that? It's
Yeah.
Isn't it
Yeah, I
from the
believe so.
Caymans? Like it's actually like bottled in the Caymans. And
It's Alcopop.
it's
I mean,
sort of like
it's a margarita Alcopop.
Yeah, it's an Alcopop version of a margarita. But it's really nice. And then, he spiked it with more tequila and
I apologize for the looks that have been appearing on my face. I got lost in a thesaurus binge because I need to find a word for a specific type of amulet for the story that I'm working on. And it taught me a word that I didn't know that doesn't belong on the list because it has absolutely nothing to do. So, like, thesaurus, why this word? Like, first of all, I've never heard the word gimcrack before. And apparently it's an old word for, like, a knickknack, just like a thing that you have around.
How do I explain that song? Jimmy Crack Corn.
Never heard this word before.
I've actually heard. You've heard of like trap streets, yeah?
Yeah.
For cartographers making. It was how Sid's giving me that adorable puppy look that I love when they go, "What's going on?" I love it. I love it when people do that. It's like, yes, I know what that means. I've learned that from dogs. I love it when corgis do, by the way. Like they're like, But anyway. On a map, they'll put a fake street like in a little dead end, and that way they can tell when other map makers essentially plagiarize their map making. That they didn't do work, they didn't do the surveying. And so it's called a trap street because it's meant to entrap plagiarizers. And I've heard that old thesaurus makers also used to put like the wrong word in the thesaurus, under a different section, so they could trap someone else for just literally stealing page by page.
That has to be what it is, because when you're looking up other words for amulet, like household knickknack, especially like cheap, what was the definition when I looked it up? Flimsy or poorly made, but deceptively attractive knickknack. That's what the word means. That's not a word that.
I mean, I can see like sort of a lost in translation situation where something is similar, but it doesn't have the same kind of meaning. I was literally just reading an entire BuzzFeed article essentially about wrong translations this morning. So I could see where somebody might have it incorrectly if they were not a native English speaker. But I still kind of wonder if it was like essentially a trap that somebody put in.
It's making me wonder.
Because, like, remember, who was it?
Oh, it's an Old English word, too. It comes from Middle English. Like, it's been an English word for a really long time. Oh, it diverged into two words. The other word is knickknack. So over time, it devolved into
knick-knack.
Yeah, Jim Crack.
But really, Jim versus Nick.
Yeah. Who knew? Not the word I'm looking for, though. Not the word I'm looking for, though. But I got lost in a thesaurus. By the way, title of my autobiography.
That's a good
Same.
title.
I do love reading a good thesaurus.
So I just noticed we're kind of color coordinated. If you look diagonally.
Oh my goodness! You're right. Oh my goodness!
That is neat.
Let's
see.
I just thought I would warn people by having Oscar's face periodically peering up, like, be warned.
Oh yeah.
Right.
State of the day. That's crazy. Because we did.
Mm-hmm.
Miracle Max's old time sandwich
Yep.
shop.
Oh my goodness. Have fun storming the castle. Think
Yep,
it'll
I
work?
think that's Tom. I think that stood out for him. I was like, here, you'll be able to find people that of our generation with this shirt.
Yeah.
Literally, people will stop him on the street and be like, have fun storming the castle.
Have fun storming the castle.
Yes.
Is that a
it
bacon, mutton, and tomato?
Yeah. When it's just so perky.
Which, by the way, I've made those, and if you make them just right, like you have to really work hard to make sure that the mutton is nice and tender, just like Max says. Like you have to follow the instructions, but oh my goodness, they're amazing. They are amazing.
I've never tried it with mutton or lamb, but I have tried it with brisket and other beefs.
Mutton is very special. It's a very, very tough meat.
Yeah.
So you got to treat it just right. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Let's see about who's got what characters.
All right. Golden Girls. Dorothy Zbornak.
Zbornak.
Awkward
Yeah.
and completely relate. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. And I was like, I never thought about it, but yeah.
Yeah, Dorothy definitely makes a good case for female-coded autism.
Mm-hmm. 180 words. Very nice. I put away my makeup. That's what I did. And I put some more on while I was putting them away because... and I danced a little in front of the camera while y'all all went away. Like the extrovert, yeah. Hello, Bella. You're not late. Nobody was getting notifications. We were just chilling, having a good time, talking about the great gazoo.
There are notifications?
I got one on. When we were in break, I looked and I had one on my YouTube in the browser. I don't think I've gotten one on my phone yet. My phone is not responding anyway. My phone's gone to sleep. It's not interested in the things that I have to do today. Yeah. No, I haven't gotten any notifications on my phone for YouTube. All right. Let's see. Natasha and Bruce were an item. They were before. All right. Let me read it right. I thought Natasha and Bruce were an item. They were before he decided he needed to disappear because of what happened when Loki attacked. He's upset with himself for risking Nat's safety like that. The drama. It is not that elegant. It's true.
No, but it does sound perfect for a D&D game. You pick up a gym crack.
It's
Do I smoke it?
Yeah, this is literally what I was thinking. Is it a drug?
The weirdest thing, Bella, it's actually spelled with a G. Like, you've got it just right, except for the first letter is a G.
Yeah, I wonder if it's based on gymnos or naked.
According to the thing, it comes from the Nordic word gibbekrake.
Ah, okay.
I can see where that'd be, yeah.
Yeah, which I can see how that turns into the thing, which apparently meant something with intricate inlay work.
Yeah.
You are about to embark on a long and perilous journey across enchanted lands and raging seas in search of the powerful, the almighty Jim Crack. I hope we save him.
I have to say, if they ever do a D&D episode of Big Mouth, I want them to hunt the Jim Crack. I'm just saying.
The crack fits all.
Because that's the first thing I thought about when I saw that word. I was like, that's something that they would make up on Big Mouth just to like make everybody squirm.
Agreed. All right.
Speaking of Big Mouth, who's the little brown girl on Big Mouth?
Oh, do you see how bad I am with names on like a good day?
Misty?
Yeah, I want to say Misty.
Oh, I think, yeah.
Missy. Yeah, you're right, Missy.
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 Do you think she is?
Missy?
Missy. I think it's Missy.
You know, there's a good argument for it. including like her lack of recognizing social cues. Even like her mother, like most children will definitely not pick up on strangers' social cues because everybody's body language can be a little bit different coded. But all children who are raised with their mother or mother figure are tuned in hardcore to their mother's body language, even the fine nuances. And the fact that she did not pick up on her mother being uncomfortable when in the glowworm episode.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. It does make a case that I know I had a glowworm. It never occurred to me. I just used the glowworm to get to the bathroom at night because I couldn't see.
You guys just said yeah at the same time. I don't think you guys heard it.
Yep. So, yeah, there is a case that she could be. I mean, like it's hard to tell. They honestly don't explore her character quite enough. You really see, especially female autistics, really show up like when the mask comes off. So tired, sick, really panicked. That's when you would be able to tell a female autistic. But most of the time, females are so much better at masking, even at 5 years old, because the female collective demands it.
Out of curiosity, because when you brought this topic up, the first thing that came to mind was the show Alpha, which is the only show that I could think of that had a character that was identified as autistic in it.
I have not watched it.
I didn't know if either of you had seen that, because
I've heard. Well, I watched. I heard about it when I watched. What's her name? Jessica Fosgren.
Kelgren Fosgren.
Talk about it specifically, but yeah, I never actually watched Alphas. It sounds a little interesting, especially in the sci-fi.
I don't know. It was a sci-fi show, so I
think
don't.
It was originally
they went all
an
over the
ABC
place.
Family, and then I think Netflix might have picked it up.
But it was an interesting concept for a show. But when I first saw when you told me the topic, that was the first show that came to mind, because I think that just thinking of representation, which is something that I spend way too much time thinking about, that's the only show that I could think of off the top of my head that had a character that was identified in the show as autistic. Like, that was the first reference that I had.
I will have to check it out.
Why don't you go through these? Yeah, there's one I want to mention. Go on.
Okay. It jumped. Hold up. Okay. Officer the Grouch Love. Yes. I love, what was it? Lowly the Worm? Oscar's little best friend? Yes. That was, I identified with, like, I want Lowly. And I used to have a little Lowly toy.
I used to have a worm farm when I was a kid because I loved Oscar the Grouch so much that I went and dug up worms and learned how to take care of them and like feed them and keep them alive, and had them in a little wagon that I used to take around with me.
And Shirley, yes.
Yeah, that is a good example.
Like particularly the book, all the books of Anne. Where she definitely has a hard time with cues. But here's the problem with outward semblances, especially since Anne of Green Gables was written so long ago. So what we identify as symptoms culturally have changed over hundreds of years. So Anne, though, could also just simply have ADHD. Because society was more aware of the sit still issue with children back then. They were far more coded for whether a child behaved and was silent or not, in olden days, as we would call them, versus autism, since it's just about missing social cues. Well, because of the way society was crafted at that point with overt manners, everybody knew the rules. It's much easier to mask when you know the rules and everybody abides by the same rules. And if you don't abide by them, well, you must be a heathen or a degenerate or a lowlife. So it's very easy to mask when society is more rigidly structured as far as manners. So honestly, Anne could be just simply ADD, ADHD, But I do agree that I think because she misses more and is also so open-hearted, she does make a strong case for autism, for female autistic. I would agree.
Yeah.
Let's see. It did jump again. Freaking! Why do you do this? It's one of those like the bingo character thing. Let's see. We're talking about what characters? Joe March.
Yeah.
Yes. Very much. I do have a theory that a lot of female autistics became writers because they were more independently minded already. They already knew they didn't fit in. They already had sinking suspicions. The In-Betweeners, I watched a little of it, I would say.
Yeah. And although I'm not sure, since Will is who I think it is.
Isn't that the shorter one who was also in Friday Night Dinner?
That's what I was going to say. I wonder about the actor because the characters are very similar between In-Betweener and Friday Night Dinner for that actor in the way he plays things.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, at least I'm not the only one who hasn't watched it entirely. I think it's okay to make jokes when they're made out of love. Yeah. When they're made with compassion. Because, I'm happy to make every freaking joke in the world about how I miss social cues. I have no idea what people are doing, but I will, break the world apart if somebody's hurting a puppy.
Well, it's the George Carlin rule. It's all about what the exaggeration is. What are you actually exaggerating? Because that's what makes a joke funny.
Yeah. Are you punching down or are you punching up?
I remember going back to what we were talking about, previously going to cons and meeting people. I, for some reason, have this habit at cons of introducing people to each other who then go on to get married.
Tom's got a great track record.
It's a little weird. Half the time I don't remember, though. And there was this one couple I introduced to each other. They got along really well. The guy, was diagnosed with Asperger's. And then after about a decade, they got divorced, in part because he realized he wasn't just gay, he was really gay.
Oh, the flaming one.
Yes, and so the joke sort of became, because it just sounds so similar, of, wait, he was a flaming Asperger?
Yes, we used to make these jokes about him and a feather boa, a fire red feather boa, just, but they ended up even having they lived together for a while. It was Oregon. Yeah. That's all I have to say. It was Oregon, and that makes sense then.
And we say this in part because he didn't just come out of the closet. He came out with a Broadway show.
It was like
after he married
penises for the first time, and it was like, dude, slow it down.
Yeah,
you'll be able to get it all. It just,
CB, I tend to agree. It's you have to be careful about where the joke's coming from, because there's a lot, especially in the queer community, we talk a lot about the darkness and that's where our humor comes from. And it's funny because we know the darkness that we live under and can make fun of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And other people don't know that and end up basically, instead of making light, just kind of stabbing a point that they shouldn't be poking at. Yeah. And so I think that people who are not part of a community need to be very careful making jokes about a community that they are not a part of, because you don't know the darkness that's there, and you might be stabbing something instead of pointing at it.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the distinguishment is, are you joking about or with? And it's the same thing as when you compliment someone. Compliments about somebody's genetics are pointless. They don't have a choice on that.
Yeah.
Complimenting someone about their fashion sense, their collection, their knowledge, that's a real compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to work for it.
And the same goes with what you joke about someone. Joking that, they have a problem, not funny. Joking that we all do the same behavior in one or two, different ways, that's fine. It's a shared experience. That's safe. Versus going, you're other, you're different, that's never good.
Because it all comes back to that darkness. Like, we know our own darkness. We know that thing that everybody does, that we're just like, oh my goodness, can you believe it? Like, oh, I could see that you're one of us from a mile away because you did XYZ. And it's funny because it's something that if you're not in the in group, you would never see. Like you would never notice. Like, oh, honey, I knew you were going to come out eventually. You had mermaids on everything. Like every trans person I know makes that joke because it's true. We had mermaid everything.
Can I just
why?
I just found an entire binder of my stuff I'm learning to draw mermaids. When you're talking, that's all I'm thinking is like, wait, I have an entire binder. Because I was like, for a whole year at the library, they just wanted me to draw mermaids for everything. Doesn't make you wonder about some of my coworkers now, too? Because they were like mermaid obsessed. These little stereotypes, sometimes there's a grain of truth in there of like, we recognize.
Which is why there's so many mermaid jokes in that community, because it's this weird, like, why? Like, it's just a weird thing that we, for some reason, all have in common. Yeah.
Well, I mean, mermaids are of two worlds. They are two opposite worlds. And that is, from everything I've ever heard, really the trans experience.
It's not the end I would have gone with for the fish.
Actually, that's the theory. That's one of the reasons why trans people are so... It's the gender signifier that's predominantly removed.
Yep, that's true.
And that's why so many trans people are into it. But that's what I'm saying. It's those little jokes that are really fun because... communities, this is something that, with all the activism that I've been involved in throughout my life, learning to have humor brings people in. So that's why, like, this, it should never be a joke. I, as somebody who I'm not sure where I fit in this, though, through conversations I've had with these two lovely people, I really wonder, like, they make a lot of my life make sense.
We do make it a little, we have been making a joke. What the Fink sandwich has been like going for 10, 12 years about if you enjoy being in the Fink sandwich, you're somewhere in one of like our big tags or maybe more than one. We don't know what it'll be. Check your thyroid.
But it's one of those things, within the community, we need to find a way to have that humor because it's how we keep ourselves alive and how we keep ourselves going forward.
Yeah, laughter is a great stress relief for oppression.
Yes.
I mean, I would rather laugh than cry most days.
Which is why some of the best comedians have always been either queer or Jewish or black or female or like...
They're oppressed. They are oppressed by society.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
It's the world's greatest coping mechanism.
And the difference that you notice is the ones who are not oppressed tend to punch down instead of up, versus people who are oppressed punch up.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not here to drag anyone down. Yep. Never forget the day the TV channel flicked over and Family Guy was on, and the clip was of a woman in a wheelchair making woo noises and waving her arms. But it was animated to excess. And then something said about, like, what's he doing? And the response was that she's autistic. That was the punchline, that she's autistic. Yeah. That's definitely... Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's the not understanding.
That's punching
and
down.
Just going, haha, different. Because different's not funny. Different is the thing you celebrate. It's not the thing you make fun of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in our family, differences and diversity was like a good thing. It was like something you wanted.
Yeah.
It was, as a child, it was like try to meet as many different people as you can in your hometown, who are not all the same because they're, they have different perspectives. And we literally learn different games, especially from like the newly moved in families, like, how we learned Mancala, which to this day is like our family game, is the Mancala board. We have literally set up Mancala with bowls on a table because we didn't have the Mancala board with us. And we would have never had that had not mom and dad invited one of the visiting professors from the university from, another continent to come. And after dinner, he's like, do your children know how to play Mancala? And we're like, what is this word you speak of? And he's like, you would like it. We need beans. And that was like the most magical day of our family.
Yeah, our mother was so happy when she went to a garage sale and she found this gorgeous hand-carved Mancala board that someone had actually brought back from visiting like Ghana or somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
She also got a some fertility mask that I'm still just like, I don't want to know.
Like, yeah. It very much. She got it because it reminded her of the Harry Belafonte Muppet Show episode, and she was like, "It must be good," because I saw a similar mask on the Muppet Show, and that was
And then we had someone visit who was from that region.
Yep, and was like, "Do you know what this mask is for?"
That's not a beard. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so it went to the corner of the living room, in the little alcove.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. As I said, not trying to punch down, trying to punch up.
I'm
Isn't it funny how we have misunderstandings and
like, yeah, I'm sorry if I looked very like on the spot there. I'm not saying I've ever done that with Mancala and bowls on a table, but I swear you
it's
people
so addictive, isn't it?
We have to find out where our families are related. It's
I
really
know.
getting creepy.
Yeah.
It's getting creepy.
So many similarities, yes.
Yeah, I feel like both of those shows, that's all of their humor. Like everything that they do is just different. Like it's quite literally bully humor.
Yes.
It's not, and people feel like they're the cool kid because they can laugh along as long as they're not the one getting made fun of.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just that's not.
Yeah.
Yep. And with the ADHD, Davy. Yep. Poor Marilla had such a hard time. My favorite, however, by the way, is when Anne has her best friend over and they have the cordial, but it's the wrong cordial, and they get drunk off their butts. My favorite scene in all the book series. Just saying. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't quite understand how humor is supposed to work. Like when it brings people in versus when it pushes people out. And I think that's a problem.
I want to disagree with that. I think it's a change that's been going on in American culture for the last 50, 60 years, where American culture was originally designed to celebrate uniformity because we wanted to prove that we were no longer British. And so that's why we spell things the way that we do. That was a very intentional thing to separate us from the British people that we had separated from. And so this idea of creating a kind of carbon copy person was at the heart of American culture for such a long time, that what you're seeing is two cultures that are fighting with each other. One that celebrates that uniformity and everybody measuring up to these set standards that have been laid down by cis heterosexual white men over the years, and another culture that's trying to rise. It's just like, everybody's different. Why are you stressing about this? Because I don't think, I really feel like when people talk about a clash of cultures and stuff, this is the culture clash that's been going on. Is we are trying to realize the potential of our nation's founding. This whole mythos that we accidentally developed, that we're the melting pot nation. We're the nation where everybody comes from everywhere and we're accepting. Like, we had that alongside but you better be white and delightsome and heterosexual and following all of these other norms as well. Well, you can't have that both ways. And so it diverged into two distinct American cultures. One that actually bought the propaganda that, hey, diversity is awesome. And the other part that bought the other propaganda that, no, everyone must be the same because Uncle Sam wants you.
That just reminds me of the old adage, where they're, up until recently going, women aren't funny for comedians, when the truth is, no, the humor is different. It doesn't always, translate across every group. Guess what? Not all male comedians are funny to women. Some humor is very specific to a very small group of people. And that's fine if that's who you're appealing to. But it's not actually a good way to judge someone's general comedic skills, versus, I have to admit, I do actually enjoy, who is it that runs 8 out of 10 Cats? Jimmy Carr.
Yeah, I think so.
You actually watch his comedy, it shows like just how smart he is, that he is thinking as far out of the box as he can find for those comedic moments.
It's kind of like the cultural moment we had, what was that, 2 years ago, when Hannah Gatsby did her special Nanette on Netflix, and those people who got it and thought it was funny and understood like that place that she's coming from of, no, I'm not going to be the butt of my own jokes anymore. Like, I'm tired of it. Like, I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to be entertaining. There's a difference. And you can see it coming to a head there.
Yeah. And I did love kind of the follow-up from that special of, where literally a doctor in the crowd at another show is like, hey, you want to talk for about 15, 20 minutes so I can diagnose if you have autism or not? Because we're all pretty sure.
Yeah, when I was watching that comedy special, remember, I literally had Tom watch it. Remember, he came home and I was like, we need to watch it again. And I was like, do you think she knows she's autistic?
I was like, no.
And we literally debated that for like a solid 3 days. Does she know she's autistic? And Tom was like, no. And I'm like, but surely by now she would know.
No.
And it was no.
Look at the way she told the joke about hitting on that girl and her boyfriend's response. She does not realize she missed a lot of social cues.
I said that is one that hit on a lot of girls and not gotten beaten up for it, and right in front of their boyfriend, by the way, and their boyfriend thought it was funny.
Yes, well, you have definitely more skills, and our parents did work with us a lot more.
Smooth operator. Yeah, no, it's coaching. I mean, this is literally decades of other people helping me coach me on how to get the girl, get the dragon, go home. Yeah.
Like, that is one of the benefits of getting, a diagnosis and knowing what your foibles are, is then you can train to be better at it and not have it cause trouble in your life. So you can just be part of society.
Yeah, even though people are like, I've literally had other doctors say, why did you care about getting an autism diagnosis? It's incurable. And I'm like, well, first off, I did not go after it. I was kidnapped from my family and put in an institution, and it took my family weeks to get me out of there. But that's aside. Yeah, when I was 6. But aside from that, it was because if you know what it is, having that name is power. I mean, that's not just ancient magic. Knowing the name of whatever is troubling you or whatever is making you happy, that is power. That is magic right there, in a kind of human magic. So knowing, well, why am I different is power. And knowing why, I still belong, it matters. This is the big deal. This is our magic.
Just like me knowing that I'm introverted, and so I can only communicate so much before I literally need to take a break, or I'm going to get more and more tired and a little incoherent, is, great to know. And also it gives me a shorthand translation to explain to other people without having to go into paragraphs of explanation about it, of just like, hey, give me a little break, I'll be back. No problem.
Right. Exactly. Knowing why. Is it Tom isn't feeling well? No, this is just part of Tom every day. That matters. That's a big difference between, well, maybe I'm not feeling well and I need to get more sleep. Knowing how we are and why we are, that matters. Yeah.
That's not to keep going back to the queer experience here, but this is why there's been such a flowering.
No, this is pretty queer in all the ways that matter, dude.
But I'm just saying, that's why there's such a flowering right now of people naming gender experiences and sexualities and all sexual identities and all of that right now, because we're finally at a place where we can talk to each other and realize, oh wait, you too? Well, what is this? Well, nobody's named it. Let's name it. Let's give it a name that means something to us, since nobody else cares to look into it. Because that I don't like using the word validation, because it sounds like it's an external thing. And as somebody who's experienced it, it's not that a golden hand came down from the heavens and went, "You are valid." It's this internal, like, oh, I'm not broken.
It's more like recognition, like
Yes.
recognizing your truth.
Yeah. And it's so important to know these labels if it's something that bothers you. You know, I'll never forget the first person that I had to explain what it meant to be asexual to, because she came to a panel I was doing and thought she was broken. Like, she thought she was broken. She had never heard that was a thing that you could be. And that's why we need to talk about these things, because that's just innate to who we are.
I hate to admit it, but I actually learned through Tinder, of all things, what my sexuality was, and current terminology, which is demi, which is, it's not that I don't find people attractive, it's that I have to develop an emotional attachment to them before this sexuality shows up.
And that's why we're developing all of these words, because then you start realizing, oh, there are more people like me. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that is the most dangerous to anyone on the outside, is once we start realizing that we are not alone, then
and easily find each other.
You can't pick on us as easily.
Mm-hmm.
Because labels can be used to hurt people, but they can also be used to bring people together.
Yeah.
See.
Can we go through the list real quick? Because I need a break.
Typing up mess. What?
Yeah, can we go through the list real quick? Sort of catch up, and then I need a break. A little writing break soon.
I'm working on that.
Being open-minded?
No, the somebody needs to put that on a shirt.
Oh, yes.
I'm okay with me.
No,
that was funny, Tom.
All right, Kitty, we're getting there.
I call this her Pride Rock moment, because we have a cat stand and she will run up to the top of it and just start doing that. Like, she's like, I am queen of the mountain. She puffs her chest out. I'm just like, yes, we know you're here.
It's going on that female autism experience of 12 years. Yeah, that's about normal.
I mean, and to be honest, even after my diagnosis at 6 years old, I never received any assistance until I went into the university education program to become a teacher. And then I learned how to help and diagnose other autistic children. And that's still the only assistance I've ever received for autism. All the rest of it, I've had to go after myself. Which is to say, it's totally doable. Okay. So are we doing another 15 minute, or are we doing a 20? What are we up to? Thoughts?
I can do whatever.
Sid?
I like 20.
Should we go with the golden hour? I like
it's
cloud.
Just right there lined up.
Yeah, okay. You know what? A billion people go for low-hanging fruit. There's a whole book, entire book on this.
Yep.
All right. We ready? 3, 2, 1, sprint! Yeah, it's doing it again. Whatever. Hello and welcome back.
I may have had the lunch.
Hello, hello. Sounds delicious.
The hubby made French bread pizzas.
Mm.
Oh, I feel bad for anybody who didn't grow up with French bread pizzas. They are like this sort of raiding the pantry kind of decadent fun.
I went to an
With
art
some,
school.
Yeah.
Garlic butter on it as well.
I went to an art school and they had French bread pizzas as part of the lunch thing that you could have every day. And they had to ration them. Like you had to buy a pizza card like a day before they were going to be on the thing because there would just be a scrum of everybody trying to get their pizza. And you've never seen a fight till you've seen a bunch of kids that are in drama, photography, art, and music programs. Oh God, the dancers. They can do things with their bodies that just aren't right. The violence that would ensue over French bread pizza.
Stuff's amazing.
Needless to say, my high school experiences were fun.
All right.
Until they weren't.
All right. Remember not to do the ticker. Okay. Bella headed out. So, because it's pretty late over the English countries, I don't know, over there on the island stuff. We get it. It's late. We hope you sleep well. Lauren stopped by. Hello. I think she's probably already gone, but we still love to see her. And let's see, I am still learning how to do this. Okay, what kind of characters are you still waiting to see accurately or honestly portrayed on TV shows? And CB said, people who have rare conditions, as in 40 people on the planet have it, which manifest as specific learning difficulties that do not go together. People who have uneven learner profiles. And the lovely Sid weighed in chat and said, well, actually, you know what, Sid? You read. I've heard tell.
You're here.
You're literate. I don't know. Yeah, why am I reading this? Sid.
There's a lot into it. So first, I said polyamorous relationships because I feel like it gets a bad reputation.
Yes.
And I feel like how people do it, especially culturally or spiritually, how it is, there should be a show about that to explain what it is. People see it in a negative light. I'm someone who has ADHD, so I hate seeing, they have ADHD. They can't sit still. They're always hyper all the time. No, like, I want to see someone who has ADHD who, whether they have their medication or they don't, they just have I don't want to say a normal life, but they go around just like everybody else,
Function.
like
they have a functional
they can
life.
function well. Like, don't make it seem like it's a big disability where they can't function. Like, I hate that. And I am a young adult who still lives with my dad. Normalize that, because they say, after a college, you leave, you like live with your roommates, you get married. Like, no.
Yeah, now they just said, like, we have more people, more adults living with their parents than during the Great Depression.
Mm-hmm. It's expensive.
And can I just say, that's a very American way of looking at the world. Like, that's not a cultural norm around the world.
Right.
Like, that's not, like, innate to the species. Like, we chose that.
No.
Yeah, that's right there with whenever I hear about using gender norms in society as some kind of genetic behavior. And it's like, no, that's just what the society has said they want in these two groups of people. That has nothing to do, like, there's so little things that are actually really different between men and women.
Yes.
There's so few things that, especially once you, like, play out across the bell curve on behaviors, like, this, what you're talking about is societal expectations.
And then Sid had another comment.
So I also said people trying to work on their career while juggling all life obstacles. So like the one trope I hate saying the most, normally it's a single mother trying to become an actress and is struggling, paying bills and all that. Like show it how people are like, yeah, okay, I got it good. I live with my dad still. But yes, I'm struggling a little bit, but like I'm trying to work on becoming a writer. I have a part-time job. I still go to school. Like you can have it all. Like people can have it all. There's just certain sacrifices you got to make or be comfortable with. But like in the end, things change. Like show that, show more of the good that comes with it.
Yep.
The negative.
Can I just say on the polyam thing that you said earlier? That's one of the things that I really. That's one of the things that I really respect about Star Trek Enterprise is the entire Denobulan species. Polyamory is normal and it's normalized. And I have to say, as somebody who's been in many polyamorous relationships in my life, it felt like seeing Phlox and his wife and the way that they interacted with the crew and everything, like that felt real to me. Like it was one of the first times I've ever seen polyamory played on television in a way that felt real and not just as a gimmick. And now, of course, there's a whole thing that she's interested in another crew member, and the other crew member is so stuffy because humans don't do this polyamory thing. That they get the human, they get some humor out of it, but it's not just a one episode thing. It's something that comes up over and over and over again when another crew member has interest in Phlox and then finds out he's married, and he's just like, well, we have multiple spouses, like that's just the way it is, like like
I feel like one of the real signs showing how society has been changing to be more okay with a poly relationship situation is the change in BFF. It used to be that you were literally only allowed one best friend.
Just the one.
And that's it. They had to, and if you changed best friends, the other one was essentially divorced. They are now your ex. They are rejected. Versus now, you essentially, you have a tier of best friends that you do different activities with, that you have, different kinds of relationships with. But it in no way deteriorates your relationship and friendship with one of the other ones. And no one is jealous of the other one, other than occasionally like, hey, can I join in this too?
Relationships do not operate on Highlander rules.
Yes, that's the only one. Yeah, thank goodness. And then Tamama Writes came in, and she says, identify with characters who are kind of laid back and maybe awkward. I guess strangely enough, also Nizumi from number 6. I do not know what this is. But I think mostly because he had walls a mile thick. I'm assuming like emotional walls. I'm sorry, I don't know what number 6 is. Is it an anime?
I'm not sure either. I would think with Nizumi, but I don't know actually on this one. Probably a new one. And
then we do have a new question. What characters do you identify with or feel comfortable with? And CB jumped on, I think that one, Chandler Bing and Homer Simpson. That's a really interesting set there.
Actually, when you think about it,
see those two together,
no, think about it. Chandler is Homer if he was in the city.
Yeah.
It's the difference in mode between being suburban and urban. You blew my mind.
I barely watched Friends. I did not have cable in the late 90s, early 2000s. I was also working tons, so I really only mostly know Chandler through...
First of all, I'm going to call shenanigans on that, because if you were a human alive and your brain was functioning, whether you watched it or not, you know everything that happened because that's all anybody talked about. It didn't matter what was going on in life, in reality. Like, my grandmother just died. Yes, but Ross hasn't asked Rachel out yet. Like, nobody cared about anything in the 90s but that stupid show.
Like, honestly, my friends were mostly referencing Seinfeld at the time that Friends was airing. I guess because Seinfeld was on reruns. I don't know.
They were on at the same time.
I didn't have cable. I didn't know. I know about
You were
the whole
babysitting all the time.
I was babysitting 60 to 80 hours a week. Then we moved to the Philippines, and then I was
Okay,
working,
so you have an excuse. I'm just saying.
and I couldn't afford cable. Hell, I couldn't really afford, getting the big antenna so I could actually get in the decent, over the air channels, truthfully.
I
And
watched Friends just because I needed to put faces to all the people that I heard people talking about. Like, I know so much about these people, and I don't know. Okay, fine, I'll watch it.
right.
Friends was
Yeah,
a cult in the 90s.
I just, and also anytime people are like totally, like so many people are into a show, I get kind of wary of like, how terrible is this going to be?
Yes.
Sid, you okay?
Sid, are you feeling seen here, or are you feeling attacked, honey?
No, I feel the exact same way. Okay, so half of the shows you guys were mentioning, like, even if it's like a little generational thing, like people still mention it, I
Sure.
wouldn't watch it because people talk about it. So, confession, don't hate me. I haven't seen Friends. Why? People talk about it. It's just like,
Yeah. Or how I
You
Met
know
Your
all the
Mother.
best
Tell you what I
bits.
think of Friends is Friends has a laugh track, but it is not funny. It is a horrible drama. It is not funny, but then they put a laugh track on it like some sort of surreal nihilism. It is a bizarre show that could not get me into it.
so yeah. I don't
And
think
then it got imported to Britain and became a great show.
Oh, I love coupling.
I love coupling. And then coupling got brought back to America and became a bad show again. But
Well, that was weird. That was really weird. Okay. I loved this song.
so skip Friends, watch coupling.
And I used to sing, Yeah. Okay. So, Linda McMahon and Vince McMahon. What show is this?
Wrestling.
From WWE?
Yeah.
I
That's
did
an
not
interesting
think
one.
about them as characters. I'm sorry. Again, I apologize.
are.
I'm not into wrestling, but Tom knows all about the wrestling. Tom, tell us about the gorgeous ladies.
Yeah, we can save that for another story.
All right, y'all, you heard it. Another story. Okay. Okay. Oh, it is an anime. See? But the books are better.
They usually are.
Could
he be any wiser? Okay. No,
I have to say, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I just have to step in here.
Okay.
Chandler was not smart in any way, shape, or form.
Not
Chandler
even-
had a better job, which allowed him to have the appearance of
Pure
being
fiction.
smart. Because that's how our society works.
Sure.
That's kind of like saying Barney Stinson was the smartest character on How I Met Your Mother. No, he just had the best job of all of them and could pay to cover up his mistakes.
That's fair. Yeah, I feel like that's really fair.
Actually, same with Chandler, because Chandler was also, he was rich.
Yes.
God, he had a lot of money.
Also, I realize most people love to watch rich people on television. I hate watching rich people. I'm like, eat the rich, okay? I don't think Dynasty and Knots Landing was entertainment. I was like, just shoot them all and move on. I mean, why is this still a show?
Which Dynasty are we talking about? The old school version or the new school version?
Okay, I'm gonna admit I only know about the old school. I didn't know there was a new school.
Ooh,
I'm sorry.
I'm about to give me a heart attack because I love.
No, I did not even know there was a new one.
Okay, the new one. Do you got Netflix? I should be able to go back.
Netflix.
If you got Netflix, Dynasty's out there. They got the first 3 seasons, and some of the season 1 is really long. I'm a big fan of it. I don't know. It just speaks to my soul. I love Dynasty, the new one.
All right, which season should I jump in to see what I think? Is it like, because okay, so here's what I do with shows, like especially if I miss this beginning, is I believe most shows don't get their footing till the 2nd or 3rd season. So honestly, I usually only start watching a show on their 3rd season, and if I like their 3rd season, I'll then go back and watch, the first 2. And I know that's me, especially British seasons. Oh, you better believe I'm not jumping into the 3rd season.
All right. So for Dynasty, I'll say season 1, but you want part 2 of season 1 because that's where it gets really good. It's stuff. This is one scene that you've probably seen all on Instagram. I don't know, but it's one of my favorite ones.
Is this just absolute ridiculous drama? It's just all the dramas all at once?
It might be a little bit of drama, but it was well written.
Just a little bit.
That scene was a good scene.
I will give it a try. I will definitely put it on my list. I mean,
Wow, I
All
actually
you got to
kind
tell
of
me
want
is
to watch
somebody
it
gets
now.
slapped down a stairwell, and I'm in.
Well, there was a pool involved in the gun. If you're interested.
Okay, you got me.
Although I don't know why, but hearing that description of when to come in and all of that just makes me think of a show I used to enjoy. I never got glory to watch from out of New Zealand, The Almighty Johnsons,
I know he tried too.
which was about all the Nordic gods fled the Scandinavian countries down to New Zealand and have been getting reincarnated as humans for the last couple hundred years. And it's just this family, and they're all messed up. And so
I made the mistake of watching the very first episode and then trying to watch the first 3 episodes. Like, yeah, they don't know what they're doing. This place is all over the place.
And that's what I tell everyone. Like, you skip the first half of the first season. It sucks. They essentially retcon a lot of stuff from that of like, we don't know what happened those first couple episodes. And, that's what it reminded me was you started the second half of the first season.
First of all, I'm going to repeat that show again so I can go try to find it. And then with this one, how Gloria describes how she likes her TV show, she might get into it that way. I enjoyed it from episode 1, season 1, but if you like part 2, then she might like the whole thing. I mean,
I'm willing to give it a try. I mean, it's just like certain dramas, like where it's like senseless drama. I'm like, why am I doing other people's emotional labor here?
Honey, are you calling me out? Like that's like my happy spot. Like, give me the full-on melodrama. Like, I need people to be ripping hair out. I need tears. I mean, mascara dripping tears coming out of people like that. I watch that to lay back and relax and laugh my butt off. But I'm a bad person. I fully admit I'm a bad person.
I find that emotionally exhausting to watch a lot of that, and I'm like when they mean it. Now, when they're being comedic, like in the movie Soap Dish. Oh, I think it's hilarious. Sally Field with her fake crying entertains me endlessly. So, like, there's the differences. But when they mean the drama, it's like, why is everybody being such a bitch?
Oh, I love that because that's like going home and I get to see it and just laugh at it because I'm not physically involved in any of it.
Right, it's not your
I'm just
problem.
like, oh, just pull. Whoop! They got a gun. This is gonna get good. The more the melodrama, the better. That's just that makes it all sweet and juicy. That's how you know it's ready.
I actually had an idea last night, I think, of a character that I semi-identify with, autistically. And I know it's a weird one, but Xena, actually. Because, at least in our family, when our family goes into our late teens...
This is another show Sid has never heard of before.
Don't even try me, Sid. I know you have heard of Xena.
No. Nope. See, look, I called it.
Oh, damn.
Look at that.
The Warrior Princess.
The Warrior Princess. It's like you're talking crap to me.
It's sweet trash. It's
yeah.
glorious.
It's trash.
It's so bad.
It's trash.
I will admit I had a terrible crush on Gabby.
Oh,
she
honey.
was just so cute. I wanted to braid her little hair. And
yes. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's so good. It's so good. Like, look up clips. Like, you just got to know.
The clips are pretty off the wall.
Because just find a compilation of best Xena moments or best Gabby moments. Or just
whenever you see those scenes in Captain America of him throwing his shield.
They stole that from Xena.
I don't even watch Captain America. I don't even watch Marvel.
I'm just saying, the clips won't make any more sense if you watch the actual shows.
True.
Just watch the like. You don't need context. Just enjoy it for what it is. That's what we did at the time.
That's fair.
And I say this as a fan. Like, Lucy Lawless is my spirit animal, and I followed her from show to show to show because, oh my God, you were Xena, and I love you. But
although for me, her best role of all time is in the movie Eurotrip.
Oh
yes. Again, another movie Sid does not know exists.
Sid, are you taking notes?
I didn't realize I was here for an episode of Shame the Children.
Drinking game?
What hobby? Who?
Okay, so Eurotrip was written and directed by these 3 guys, right? And So in the special features for the director's cut or the uncut version, they do a commentary where the three of them get messy drunk, and they set up a drinking game, and it gets insane. And in the middle of their commentary, the pizza guy literally shows up, and they try to get the pizza guy to stay, and he stays for a little bit, and he's like, "Man, I gotta go. I gotta keep delivering pizza." I mean, like, it is just messed up, but it is. We've never made it past the tunnel scene trying to keep up with them in this drinking game.
All right, I'm gonna need y'all to seriously put this in the private chat, and I'll look stuff up.
Right.
None of this.
But it is actually a fun movie because, like, Tom has lived in Albania, and he's like, everything from that part of Eurotrip was totally true. It was horrible. You could have bought a hotel with like a nickel and 3 dimes. He does have pictures from this hotel called the Hotel California there that he was there during, the millennial change. And the power went out, and he was like, "This is the end of the world, huh?" It was terrible.
He was like, "Oh my God, I really did check in, and I'm never checking out."
Oh, yeah. Eurotrip, especially the uncut version, has Fred Armisen in it. It is hilarious. It is fun. It is just, it's adorable. Just raucous, rowdy fun. There is a nude beach scene. It does not play out the way you think it will, especially in the uncut version, where they show all sorts of things. So, be warned. There is a German lesbian orange juice commercial.
Oh, wow.
Which, that was the first thing they shot, and they talk about in the commentary, and they didn't know among the 3 guys which one was actually the director. So nobody told the girls to cut, finish the scene. So they just kept making out for like a while the cameras rolled. And after the first day, yeah, that's when they were like, well, that's what we learned. We have to establish who's the director for the day. I'm like, I can relate to that. Having filmed porn. But anyway, something else. That's a different story.
Okay.
Look, you have to have a lot of jobs in Mississippi just to pay the rent, okay?
Hey,
Going on.
What you got to do?
Moving on. Moving on. Where are we? Yes, Friends. No, Golden Girls is still so much better. Friends is gift sets. Yes.
Yeah.
They are real people. Only barely. There, I said it. Tony Soprano. Oh, Sid, you are the darling of the show. Yes. Mob Wives. I have never watched this.
Don't even know what it is.
I'm desperately trying not to because it looks so much like my kind of trash. Like, I try to avoid reality TV like the plague because I don't want to be that person, but I know that I'm that person.
Oh, you mean versus, what was that reality show? Breaking Amish? As they go in to go destroy milk.
I love that show. That was
raw milk things.
Yes.
And then it turned out that these people actually were doing criminal things. And they got busted by the Pennsylvania DA or something crazy? Like, I'm like, do they not understand this is supposed to be, it says reality show, but it's supposed to be fiction? No, because they don't have TV.
Hey, Chloe.
Is that Chloe?
Yep.
See? Okay. Hello. Okay. Sid, tell us your Disney shows.
I don't know. Okay. Because first, I always think about other shows. Okay, what the heck? Okay, so
seriously, what are the young people watching these days?
Please say Owl House.
Please say Owl House. We do love Owl House.
What's that?
Oh my God, you're missing out. It's so good. It's on Disney. It's on Disney Plus. Yeah, Charlie we've already done this to Charlie earlier. Charlie's like, what is this Owl House? It's like there's poly, there's multiple and no genders. There's everything. It's fun, mishmash. It's lovely. Everybody's cool. There's magic users. There's a loving mom, and no parents have died yet. It's great.
Yet.
Season's wrapped up. Look, I'm making no promises. I don't know. It's Disney. So I feel like all parents are endangered in Disney shows.
I'm like, I always like the old Disney stuff like now it's like on Netflix. Like,
Talk about the old Disney. What do you like?
Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, Kim Possible, Lilo and Stitch.
Lilo and Stitch, the TV show.
Was it a TV show? No, I think it was just a movie. There might have been.
Okay.
I think they did both.
There's
think
an
it was a
anime
Disney era
that
where they did
shot
both.
over.
No, that was a different one. That's just called Stitch.
Yeah.
It's still about, and don't watch it. It'll break your heart. They should be shot over making that.
Okay.
It's not supposed to be sad, but it is. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. What was that one? There was this one show. There was one of my favorite shows ever. And then it got canceled, and I got upset, and I was in my feelings, still in my feelings. It's called The Magicians.
Is that based on the book series, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I watched the first half of the first season and I liked it, but then I think we had to cancel the cable or whatever a couple years ago.
See,
So I haven't caught up.
Netflix.
Yeah, I can't afford CW. Do you know how much that costs locally here?
Yeah, versus
That's for the rich people in our town.
Right.
and then there's Lucifer.
Never seen it.
Oh, Lucifer.
Tom, tell us what you think about Tom Ellis.
He's a pretty man.
He purdy.
Very pretty man.
Tom tried to
with that
tell me
shirt.
what did you try to tell me, dear? Do we want to talk about that or we want to change the subject?
I thought it sounds really weird.
It is really weird, and I tried to explain to you that that's called bisexuality or pansexuality. That's not heterosexual except for Tom Ellis. Glory, I'm into Tom Ellis. Baby, no, that's not how it works.
It's unfair because I think everybody is, because he is preternaturally attractive. I think every person on that show is kind of preternaturally attractive. I really think that Lucifer himself, the actual devil, is making that show to find that many hot people to put in one place. Even here, we're going to put in the dopey detective. Nope, he's cute. He's really hot too.
Yeah.
I
would
mean,
say if anything, I find the what's her name, whatever German, the other main character, to be the least attractive of everyone on that show.
The one who plays Chloe.
Yeah. I was she's kind of actually the least.
She's kind of the plain one, which is saying a lot since she is not.
Yeah, I was about to say you're not wrong.
The bar
but
is so high on that show.
In human terms, she's unnaturally attractive. But for that show, for that show, it's almost upsetting. It's just this is why our standards have gone down, because this show has taken all the hot people. None of the other shows can have them. They're all on this one. They're all here.
It is on Netflix, by the way.
It is on Netflix.
Oh, it is on Netflix. And Aminadale, can I just say, Aminadale?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Gosh. Yeah.
God.
Yeah, I have a whole storyline with Angels that I've been working on for a very long time. And believe me, I had to reassess casting of some of these characters.
Because I'm not. Usually, the quickest way to get me not to like a character in a show is to be this is the uptight one who's all about the rules. And then Aminadale. I'm just saying. Okay. We can adjust this theory.
But I do also like the way they adapted Lucifer, the character, from the comic books.
Yeah.
Or the TV show. I mean, I don't know if I'd say it's true to the comic books exactly, but it's a very good adaptation of the spirit of that character. And gosh, Tom Ellis's body language is totally on.
Can I say, did you notice that they kept mentioning the Endless in the most recent season?
I have not watched it because I thought it was going to be terrible. When Netflix picked it up, oh, well, where are they going with this?
Oh, no. It got better.
No, it's Glory. You just have to watch it, Glory. And I'm
it got better. It got better. It got so much better.
I always get nervous when somebody's it's so amazing you have to watch it, and it will suck then. And so I've been reticent to watch the latest season.
Yeah, how I got Glory into Doctor Who, the reboot series.
Yes, why don't you tell that story real quick? Story time.
Because she was avoiding, I think, for, the first 3 seasons, I want to say? I think 4?
Well, you can skip
Matt Smith was coming in?
Yeah, you got me with the 5th season. That was
okay.
You started me at the first episode of the 5th season. And I watched the whole 5th season. And then you gave me the essentials to catch me up with the first 4 seasons.
Okay, it's time for me to get canceled. Can I just say that you came in at the right time? Because once you get past Rose, the show gets good.
Of like what I did, but what I did was I found like the essentials, which is for the first 4 seasons, which is mostly Moffat and a few Davies scripts. I think it was like 12 episodes total across 4 seasons, and that really got her into it. And then she's watched the rest. And
I have not watched the latest 2 seasons because they suck. We
love Jodie Whittaker. I love Jodie Whittaker.
I am not against the female of Doctor Who, but screw Chris Chibnall. Go back to Bradford and keep kidnapping children in your stories, you ugly little whatever. I'm not bitter. I don't know what you're talking about. I have no emotional problems. I'm totally fine. It's a children's show. It is. It's a children's show. It's supposed to be a Monster of the Week show like Scooby-Doo. And Chris Chibnall does not seem to understand it is for children, not adolescents and young adults. It is a children's show. 8-year-olds are supposed to go hide behind the couch and watch it while peeking above the couch. That's how the show works.
Yeah, it's Mama. I know I'm flirting with fire, but there are very few Doctor Who things that I have really strong feelings about, and Rose is... Because every time they're like, we're going to kill Rose, I'm like, good. And leave her
Rose
dead.
Is not my favorite, not even in my top 4, 5. I mean, Rose and Clara kind of compete for which one would I sacrifice first. There, I said it. I'm sorry. Hate me all you want. I don't care.
And Donna is my queen.
I love Donna. I rewatched season 4, especially Turn Left. I love it. I do love, the whole library double episode, of course, because River Song shows up as well.
River. But yeah.
It took me a long time to warm up to Peter Capaldi. I will admit that.
I don't know. I was such a big fan of some of his earlier stuff that I was more upset that he wasn't foul-mouthed. It was so hard to watch. It's kind of like watching a Samuel Jackson movie where he's doing it like a kid's movie, like because you're so used to hearing certain words come out of his mouth. Like Peter Capaldi always plays those foul-mouthed characters, and I'm just like, he didn't drop any F-bombs. Is he okay? Like it felt so wrong.
I was really
it was uncomfortable. It wasn't cursing.
Samuel L. Jackson makes so much more sense when you find out how he evaluates scripts.
Yep.
All his movies make sense then.
Yep.
What was it? What is his 12-year-old self?
Yep.
Actually enjoy this movie?
And I think that's actually a great way to pick what roles you'll do, is what would your 12-year-old self have gone to the theater to watch, or what would they have watched at home? I think it's a great way to pick roles. I love Samuel L. Jackson. I have cast him in several of my stories.
Just like Raul Julia, we have his kids to thank for Addams Family and Street Fighter because he wanted some movies that his kids could enjoy.
Can I just say that Street Fighter is proof that there is a devil? It may not be proof that there is a God, but it is proof that it is a devil because it took Raul Julia away from us and left that as his legacy, and that is wrong. That is wrong.
But it did also prove that if you are a good actor, you can even make the most cheesy role in the world.
Because that is
amazing.
The worst. Like there really aren't many video game movies that are worth even talking about.
Right.
But that movie is so particularly bad in every possible way. Like, stop giving Jean-Claude Van Damme speaking roles. We're just there to see him do the splits and kick somebody in the face. That's the only reason he's here. Let's just be honest.
I will admit that if we're talking about Raul Julia, I am very much a Moon over Parador kind of gal. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you've missed out. Please watch.
It is a very good movie.
And pretty much impossible to find the source movie that it's based on.
Yeah.
I've been trying for several years to find this fabled film, and I can't get it. The dark web has not helped.
Can I just say, when I think back to 12-year-old me, that's a thought process that no one should have.
Isn't that all of us?
Let me think.
Like,
Wow, I
12
was a
years-
hot mess. I was a hot mess at
Oh.
12.
I would have been proud to have been a hot mess at 12. Like, hot mess was aspirational.
What?
Okay.
What? What are you saying? You were a rolling dumpster fire at 12?
So you have no idea. You have no
Right,
idea.
I don't. Go on and
Like, yeah.
Anyone else think of Sorted Lives right now?
yeah, a
Did
little bit. Speaking of
Anybody
sort
see
of
that?
TV show, highly
Did anybody
recommend. I think it's on Hulu.
Yeah.
If anybody remembers that weird video that I did that I included pictures of young me, I think it was the was it my Millworthy one? I can't remember which one it was. Did I put young pictures? That one of me with the bangs, that was me at 12 years old. Okay.
Wow.
If that picture doesn't tell you what a rolling dumpster
I
fire
mean-
I was as a human being,
Okay,
then
all right. I'm
I
gonna
don't know
tell you.
what else will.
I had bangs at 12, but like at the time, what was really popular at school was the Jersey Wave with the Aquanet, and I just had curls. It was just like a whole set of curls because my hair is normally much curlier. It's gone straight because I've been sick, and I lost 2/3 of my hair, so this is what's left. But my hair is normally like super curly, and so just imagine just a pad of curls. And then trying to Aquanet this to stand up,
Oh,
and
yeah.
like it's a curly way. It did not work, but hot mess. Sid, tell us about little 12-year-old Sid. How did that go out? How'd that work? Share. No, you don't have to actually share if you don't want to.
Just say one thing to make us all feel good. Were you a hot mess at 12? Are you one of us? Are you also a hot mess at 12?
Were you hot mess or were you totally together? And
You were totally
gentleman
together.
Sid?
We need stories. How did you do this? How can we be more like you? Like,
Yes,
this is going to turn into self-help with Sid.
I'm here for this. Yeah, I would like to know.
I had a big head and buck teeth.
Aw,
Me.
you just hadn't grown into your teeth yet.
Ooh, I haven't gone into my head yet.
All right. What was your geek? Were you
What
doing
was your geek at
Pokemon?
12?
What were you doing? Were you in band?
No, we didn't have that. I did homework occasionally. All I did was just sit in my photography. That's what I did. I did photography. That was it.
Okay.
I was one of those.
Sid was so cool at 12. He's like, I don't want to make myself feel bad with my outfit.
Sid was a hipster before they had the word.
I was like the social outcast. I didn't do
For real though, it
sports.
sounds like with the
I didn't watch TV, so I didn't watch what other people were watching because I had to block on my TV because I may or may not have been caught trying to watch reality TV shows that I wasn't supposed to, and I knew the password to the TV. So yeah, that was me.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we grew up watching a lot of Disney movies. Like our parents had the whole clamshell set, and we didn't have cable, so the options were PBS and I think NBC. We got up in
Yeah.
Oxford,
Yeah, NBC.
and sometimes ABC because every once in a while Mom would watch Roseanne. Because it made poverty chic. For reals. And then and we would try desperately to I babysat so much even at 12 that it was I would do Friday night to do TGIF. I would babysit Friday nights whoever had cable so I could watch TGIF. With the whole Family Matters.
was a cult and an obsession.
Yes. Family Matters, and it was will Urkel be sexy this time?
Will it be
And-
Stefan tonight?
Stefan.
Yes. Are we
yes.
going to get Steve or Stefan?
And
It was a simpler
Step by
time.
Step, and I don't remember the rest of it, but yeah,
Step by
And-
step.
I don't remember what were there. There was Family Matter. No, there was Family.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah, Family Matters. Step
yeah, and
by
then-
step. Dinosaurs.
oh,
Oh,
Dinosaurs.
dinosaurs.
Oh
Not
my
the
god,
mama.
I was so into the baby. It's
Not the
embarrassing.
mama.
Not the mama. With a skillet. And then what was that? The other one with the with the DJ and the Bob
House.
Saget.
Oh, Full House.
Full House. Yeah, that was I think also on TGIF.
I was trying to
Who
think if
gave
that was.
Bob Saget a family show?
Oh yeah, Bob Saget's gonna be a dad.
See, I think the same thing about Pee Wee's Playhouse because I'm old enough. I remember the Pee Wee Herman specials on HBO.
Yeah.
And Like the first one is all about learning how to put mirrors on your shoes so you can look up girls' skirts. Like they are dirty shows. And somebody watched those dirty shows and went, this should be a kids show.
Yeah. Although, let's be honest. Let's give Paul credit. Death scene in a movie in Buffy.
Yes.
Best. It's the only like bright shining part of the Buffy movie.
Oh, Paul Rubin is a much underrated actor. I'm just gonna say it.
Sid, are you familiar with Buffy the movie? It's really crap, but
it's terrible.
Are you?
And
you know?
I love the fact that it's canon. I
love
the fact that it's canon because the show.
This is just an orange you've talked to.
The show presumes that you've seen it because it's literally the year after that movie that the show takes place. And I'm just like, why are you even acknowledging it? Nobody saw the movie. It was bad.
I grew up
reboot. Just reboot.
Oh, I had such a crush on Christy Swanson at that age, at 12, 13, 14. It was like,
I can understand that.
I want to kiss that face.
So. I wanted to have that face, but I do not have a bucket of women's ears.
I am so glad that you do not have a bucket of women's ears.
I'm sorry. It's my favorite line from Coupling. Because when he's trying to hit on the Israeli girl, but he doesn't know that she's Israeli, and he just thinks that she's ignoring him, and then she realizes that he's Israeli and accidentally talks himself into saying that he collects women's ears in a bucket, and then he's like, "No, I don't collect women's ears in a bucket," and her translator's translating all of it to her. It's the best episode of Coupling ever, especially because the second half is in Esperanto, so that all the English parts are in Esperanto and all the Hebrew parts are in English, so you get to see everything play out from her point of view. It's the greatest show ever.
Whatever country you see coupling in, you know how if you ever go look on Wikipedia, that's called a country that was it Moffat wanted to go vacation in.
Probably.
No, like he's actually said that. He and his wife will show up anywhere to talk about coupling as long as they want a vacation there.
All right. So we've the chat just keeps going, which is wonderful. Oh my God, I really lost track. I'm sorry. It took me a whole minute to figure out what year I was 12. Oh, that's how you know you have some distance. Super Mario Brothers. What was that movie where they went on an odyssey to go to a gaming convention?
The Wizard.
The Wizard.
Yeah, the Wizard.
Oh,
yeah.
The piece of resistance of shit children's movies.
All right, so here's a
because they're actually worse ones. But
fun fact: why does the Wizard exist? Because they had, no joke, they hadn't finished animating Jetsons the movie for Christmas, and they needed a Christmas movie, so they put that movie together in like 4 months.
Oh, that is the best thing that I've ever heard in my life.
But yeah, that's literally the reason that movie exists.
When hot trash like that has a raison d'etre.
Yes, Devin is here and was a loose cannon at 12. I could really imagine that.
Yeah.
We're all thinking about what hot messes we were at 12, except for Sid, who actually had his mess together.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean,
now
it's
I'm
not hard to imagine because of the perfection that is Sid.
Now
Sid has just been polishing this perfection for years. I think that's what we're watching is Endgame here. Of like,
oh no, you don't think that I'm just like puffing you up because you're here. When they told me that you were going to be on here, I was just like, you don't need me. You got Sid.
Yeah, Charlie was very much on the fence about joining us because Sid was already going to come. Sid had already confirmed, and I was like, come on, give it a try.
The more, the merrier. That's how I feel. And then, like I said, sometimes I do scrunch up. I sit back and I listen. I don't really talk.
Sid, I totally get it because I definitely, in a group, will from time to time, essentially have selective mutism. But I don't see it as other people get upset, including other people around me. But I'm like, look, I realize I am very talkative, but there are times where I just enjoy sitting back and watching the show. And it doesn't mean I'm unhappy. It doesn't mean anything negative. It means I'm loving the show. Y'all keep going. Entertain me, puppets. Entertain me.
So we got Quibi for a short while. And right now, Sid, the way you describe yourself at 12, I'm just thinking about, what was that show when the streetlights turn on? the main character.
Charlie, the
Yeah.
main character, the journalism student in high
Yeah.
school.
I successfully avoided the Quibi.
Okay, I have a whole list of things I think you should watch on Quibi.
I did not contract the Quibi. I tried very
will
hard.
only need
You
a
just have
month
to do
or
it
less.
for like a month.
Just
All
a
right,
month. I will
so-
literally give you a list of everything to watch. That is good because I've now watched all the things that are good, and then you just move on, right?
So I just figured something out. I don't know if it's true, but every time when I go to work, I'm in the train station, I see it. Does Quibi stand for like quick bites?
I have no idea.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
Yeah.
There.
Yes, it does.
Hey, baby. Hello, sweet baby with the ears.
Yeah, they're talking to you. Yes, they are.
Yo, baby.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, Quibi also has a show about two people who write songs for other people,
Called Royalties.
and it is beautiful.
It's hilarious. And it may or may not star me and Tom as not siblings, though.
All right.
Yeah, one of the problems we have with TV shows and movies is anytime we see characters that remind us of both of us, they then immediately turn it into a romance, and it's like, no, it's friends. Why can't they just be friends? Which is why we surprisingly actually really enjoyed, what was that weird movie? Psychopath or something? Like Crazy? Remember these two people with like mental problems both take this experimental drug, and they start having like hallucinations or going to alternate versions of themselves in different realities?
You have not given me enough to go on. I know that you think you have. But I'm going to need, like...
The woman is from the movie Easy A. And,
Emma Stone.
She's a redhead.
Emma Stone?
Yeah, Emma Stone. And the guy is, who was the chubby one from 21 Jump Street?
Jonah Hill?
Jonah
Yes.
Hill.
Yeah, Jonah Hill.
Yeah, it's the one with both of them.
All
in
right.
it.
I'm literally looking up who Emma Stone and Jonah Hill and see what movie they've been in together because I'm like, meh.
So,
I'm sorry, y'all.
Usually
It
we're
just
better at
turns
this
out
game.
It turns out my dog doesn't really love me. She just figured out that the hubby was running a bath for her because she got into some stuff
Oh.
and needed a bath, and she was wanting to have protection, and she thought that I was that person.
Oh, save me from the bath. No, not with the
Mhm.
soap taking off my beautiful stink that I have worked so hard to cultivate. Yes. Okay, yeah, I found it. It's Maniac. Yes, you're right. It's not a movie. It's sort of like it's broken up like a TV show.
Yeah.
It was on Netflix.
Yeah,
No,
I
it's
think
still
it's
on
on
Netflix. Yeah, it's based off of a Scandinavian show or Norwegian or something.
But that one was one of the few times we've ever seen one where we kind of related to the characters, and it was just it's a friendship. Like they even had it
I
at the
really
end.
like that it didn't become sexual, their relationship, the whole
Like
time.
she hires one of the last episodes. She hires an actor to sort of pretend to be this guy, and he
On the
takes
show.
it romantic, and she's like, "No, we're friends."
Yeah.
It's like I don't get this.
Can I just say, I am so tired of platonic relationships having to resolve to romantic or physical ones in a series.
Yeah,
It's perfectly fine. Like, let them be friends.
right.
like that's what I was hoping.
That's what
would happen.
shipping fiction is for. If people want them to be together, there's an entire branch of fan fiction that's all that is, and let them have it.
Like,
yeah.
that's what I loved about Star versus the Forces of Evil, the first season of, oh, look, it's a boy and a girl who are just friends who get along great, and they both want the other one to find romance, and it's not them. And then, no, third season, it's Disney. No, they have to get together. Just like Kim Possible, just like
Warehouse
all of them.
13, because they do that in there too.
Yeah.
Which felt so forced. Like you could see, like, well, the fans are talking about them getting together. I guess they should. And it's like, it makes absolutely no sense. Like they have built a familiar relationship. They call each other brother and sister. It's you just made incest. I'm sorry.
This is not Pornhub. It's possible to be friends and not.
You broke Sid.
Look, here I'm just gonna say it. So I am pansexual and I am polyamorous, and I mean, most people seem surprised that the vast majority of my relationships and friendships are in no way sexual. And they're like, but if you're pansexual and you're polyamorous, shouldn't you just be like kissing and other with everything that moves? And the answer is no, I have standards. And also,
That's what I did wrong in my youth.
So
Standards.
I was just laughing at
Standards, yes, you should try it. I would be happy to give a TED Talk on this. And reducing my standards, because people keep telling me, Gloria, your standards are too high. And that is literally how I have so many exes.
I'm sorry, Sid, you were saying?
Sorry, Sid.
You said, what was it? Literally, you just made incest in one of the TV shows, The Umbrella Academy. That's basically what it is. So
Yes.
Yes.
Again.
Yes.
Versus
Again.
no.
Okay. Look, I just want to break this down. Like, as you know, because I have a degree in psychology, we actually went over this. Israel with their not compounds, their what is the word? It's a C word, but these like farms, the co-ops, where
the kibbutzes.
Hmm?
The kibbutzes?
Yes.
The kibbutzes, yeah. Where the kids grow up, it's all these children, because it's all these different families are there. They are not genetically related. And they have found that when children grow up together before the age of 7, like 7 and down, if they knew each other before that, they never have any romantic or sexual feelings about each other for their entire lives. It is only people who meet after the age of 7 that there is even a possibility, because we are coded to not be incestuous. That is how the genetic.
Unless you're written by George R.R. Martin.
Unless you're George R.R. Martin, and I'm not even going to comment about like so much shade, since apparently a lot of Game of Thrones is based off of who we went to high school with and the other people in his little tiny town. I'm just saying. That's apparently it. So I think he's throwing shade about these people. And I mean, like, yeah, it's Dynasty with dragons. Go for it. You do.
It's Dynasty with Dragons.
That deserves. I ain't got no tea, but if I did,
I ain't got no tea, but if I did, it would be hot.
It deserved that. Wow.
That is what I was taught in the librarian network. They talked about like, oh no, he's come to the library with some of these people in the Dakotas know him from way back, and we're like, he's just basing this. He didn't even change the names very well. Everybody can tell who it is because it's all the people in his hometown. And he did not think well of any of them.
Yeah.
Just saying.
That's why he actually had such a hard time writing this last book, was he'd already killed off all his bullies. He just didn't feel very motivated for this last story.
Just lose your zest for character murder when you've killed off all the ones you wanted to kill off.
See,
Writer problems.
I've never had a zeal for character murder. I will say that. I write a lot of bloody, disgusting stuff, but unfortunately for them, they often survive.
Yeah, I had someone on
Honey,
Instagram
you're a wizard.
I follow was asking, like, how is your progress going? And I just put down every new situation I put my character into, like, just drives me insane, because it is, if I was this character, I would be tortured every chapter, versus my character is just having fun with it. But my anxiety,
because you're writing fiction.
Yeah, my anxiety gets triggered every scene, because like I can't do that. No, I can't. Oh my god, it would be a horror movie if I lived through this story.
Because I've talked about this with two of you in private, but how many of us got into writing because we didn't see ourselves on TV or in books that we wanted to read and whatnot? Like, I know, like, so much of what I've done has not been about like writing a self-insert character, but just wanting to see anyone that's anything like me. Just
anybody who thought like me.
Yes. Just that quest for representation in some way, shape, or form. Because
I saw one when I in the 80s when I was growing up that now says volumes. But there was a movie and it was all what do you call it when you have a period after each letter, like FBI? It's a
acronym.
Yeah.
And it was Daryl. About
very much identified. Yes.
An android child.
I remember that, and same. Yeah.
I identified with. I came across
Vicky.
the story AI. The movie is based on. It was originally first published in Playboy, and at the time I had a subscription to Playboy for the articles. My mother gave me a subscription, whatever, and there was this story that's actually sort of, I don't know if they stole it or they paid this writer off, but it's essentially the beginning part of AI. And I was like, yep, I too feel like the discarded toy. The little child who's supposed to take the place of a real child. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Glory, remember Vicky?
Small wonder. I had the dress.
Small wonder.
And the pinafore.
That's definitely an age thing. Like there's no one under a certain age.
It's not streaming anywhere. Nobody
Don't feel bad about this one, Sid.
This. It's never going to stream.
No one remembers this one.
There have been rumors forever that it's going to get rebooted. Like it pops up every couple years. Like they're going to reboot Small Wonder, and it has never happened. But yeah,
although
I remember
in my
that.
headcanon, Vicky from Small Wonder grew up to become, I can't remember her name all of a sudden, but Lex Luthor's bodyguard.
Oh, yes.
Um,
No, really. Lex Luthor's bodyguard is an android that really reminds me of Vicky.
Are we talking for the comic books or which movies or or the TV show? What I can't.
More of the cartoon movies. But
yeah,
some of the
I know who you're talking about.
Actually,
the name's not clicking in right. I know exactly. So I want to say Eva something, but that's not. I don't
but
think
yeah,
that's
they
right.
essentially wrote Vicky as an adult, as a bodyguard, and that's Lex Luthor's, right-hand person.
I 100% can see that. Just 100% can see that.
Although I have to say, it doesn't quite qualify as TV shows, but I do love the DC cartoon movies. They usually have great stories in them.
They're usually like whatever the equivalent would be direct to video or direct to TV or direct to streaming now.
Yeah.
So I would actually consider it part more of TV shows.
Yeah, except for when they mess it up. Because that's the thing.
The DC movies, I do not like the DC live action movies.
We've often talked about that. Like, how is it that the DC animated stuff is so much better than the live action? But
versus Marvel is the opposite.
With the exception of The Killing Joke. Because whoever thought, we need to get Batman and Batgirl to have a thing?
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, Tom got me into the cartoon movies with Batman and Harley Quinn. Or that one.
Yeah, no, that's what's called.
Which was
Batman
really
and
about Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. Batman and Robin.
As it should be.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I really, again, I could relate a lot to Harley Quinn. I mean, I am not a classy, like the joke that Dad used to make was like, yeah, because you're a classy broad, because it's hilarious to say classy and broad in the same breath. But
the Harley Quinn TV show that they're doing right now, the animated one, really bothers me because it reminds me so much of the first couple of years that I and the hubby were together. It's just like, you were my Poison Ivy, and somebody wrote this all down and made a show out of it, which is wrong on so many levels. But yeah, it's such a good show, and
hey,
I
Eva,
see myself.
Don't feel bad. I do as well. The only reason I can tell the difference, I'm not even joking, is that in the cartoons and comics, they brought Spider-Man into anything Marvel related. So I just have to think, have I ever seen Spider-Man with this character? If the answer is yes, it's Marvel. If the answer is no, it's DC. That's how I keep them apart.
That's true.
I cannot keep
Other
up.
than that, it took me decades to get Green Lantern, whether that was, Marvel or DC.
That TV series better be good. That's all I have to say. I'm sorry. That show has got to be good. Because one, you've been teasing me with Green Lantern for years. Like literally, in the Crisis on Infinite Earths, you tell me that John Diggle's real name is John Stewart, which means in an alternate universe, he is the Green Lantern. And then you do a multiverse version where we even get to see Brandon Roth back as Superman, but we don't get to see John Stewart with a power ring. What is this? And then you give me the whole Stargirl show where they literally show you the ring. Here it is. Here's the lantern. It's here. And we don't see a Green Lantern in the whole thing. So help me, Jeff Johns. If this show is not good, I'm going to dedicate my entire life to yelling and screaming about it. Not that I'm a big fan or anything, but
yeah. Also, speaking of going down to Eva's talking about Daredevil, it's like I enjoy Daredevil, but I enjoy Daredevil the same way I enjoy Superman. There's good authors who understand how to write a character like this.
Yep.
And there's a lot of bad writers who just do not understand this kind of character. Like, when I hear people say they don't like Superman, I'm like, I totally understand. Most writers are awful with that character.
yes.
But the few that understand it, those stories are wonderful.
I do have fan fiction.
And I have to say, the best Daredevil stuff ever written is the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic books. Because nobody ever realizes that they exist in the same universe.
Yeah.
But the original, like, Laird and Miller comics are some of the best Daredevil stories that have ever been written. And Daredevil is actually in, I think, the first or second page of the first comic.
Yeah, because that's the chemicals.
Yeah.
That made him blind, made the turtles grow.
I have to say, I'm very excited about the reboot for a couple reasons. One, it's not that I didn't like the story that they went with for season 1, because season 1 was really good. And I get that she had problems on the set, because going from being a movie actress to being a TV show actress it's not the same job. That is not the same job in any way, shape, or form. But the fact that everybody is getting completely bent out of shape, that the new Batgirl is going to be of African descent, drives me wild.
Who
because
cares?
First of all, in the comics, there have been 3 versions of this character, 2 of which have actually been black.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
That's number 1. Number 2, I'm more curious about how they're going to switch the characters out, or because I'm wondering if they're just going to make this an after effect of Crisis to try to keep it in continuity, or if it's or how they're actually going to play it out. But if they can find an actress who can actually pull off that character, because Batwoman is one of the best characters that DC Comics has created in a very long time, I'm all for it. I really don't care who plays it, because there, with very few exceptions, and that's generally because the character is a racist caricature, there's no necessity for a character from a comic book to be of any particular ethnicity whatsoever.
Exactly.
Just saying. But I'm very excited for the new show.
Preach it.
I'm also really upset because the new Batman movie, that should be Dick Grayson's Batman. I'm just saying. He looks like Dick Grayson from the comics.
He does. You're right. That would make more sense.
He looks exactly the way they've always drawn Dick Grayson from the comics. And after Nightfall, when Bruce disappears and he puts on the Bat costume so that people don't know that Batman's missing, perfect way to do it. It would surprise everyone, because they'd be like, what is this? Different Batman. Yes, because there's been more than one Batman.
Yeah.
I'd be fine with that, honestly.
Yeah. I'm all for the exciting new casting. Like, honestly, show me some new faces. I'm so getting tired of the same ones.
I liked the Daredevil show until the last season. I could not make it through the last season. The hubby tells me it got better. Like, I basically rage quit, like, right before it got to the point, and I'm like, well, that's the problem. It should have gotten to the point quicker, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
All right, I got something. You can all hate me for it, but I actually do not care for the Batman comic book character at all, because here is a millionaire. So number one, I do not enjoy glorifying millionaires, or billionaire now, whatever. But on top of that, he is too busy putting on a damn suit rather than actually solving Gotham City's problems. Excuse me, it is time for Bruce Wayne to grow the fuck up.
Can I just say, the thing that everybody gets wrong about Batman, and I'm not like coming at you, but I'm kind of coming at you, is that he's He's Sherlock Holmes in a funny suit. That's who Batman is supposed to be. He's the world's greatest detective. That's his superpower. And the fact that they forget that, the fact that so often, so many writers and every movie writer since Tim Burton has forgotten that. Because Tim Burton, like, why are those my favorite Batman live action movies? Look, you actually get to see him solving a crime. You see him actually putting the evidence together and investigating, because he's Sherlock Holmes in a funny cape and cowl.
Yeah, versus a lot of the newer ones, especially like Nolan, it reminds me more of the way the Punisher's written.
Yeah.
Even in the comics, where like they literally go over, the Punisher puts himself through a literal regular torture regimen so he won't show pain or anything, to be more intimidating. That his real power is to look tough and to kill people. It's like, and that's pretty much how they've been running Batman the last 25 years. And it's like, no, that's not Batman.
And I don't understand, especially if we're going to live in the world of reboots and all this and that we're doing. The one thing that I want you to get right is whatever the story is about. That's the only thing you have to get right. You can change every character's name, you can change everything else about it, but what is this story actually about? That's the only thing that I'm here for. Like the new Dune movie that's coming out, it looks like hot trash, and I'm there for it. But as long as you remember what that story is actually about, because it's about saving a world from itself. It is about the ecological destruction of a planet for the benefit of others and putting down the indigenous people on that world so you can profit. That's why that's why he wrote the book. He was literally out surveying dunes and on the beach and saw how the troopers were treating the indigenous people on whose land they were, and went, this is wrong. And that's where the entire idea for that book came from. Like, that is what that story is about. It's about the mistreatment of the Fremen and the Fremen rising up and getting their own back. As long as that's the movie, I'm good, right? But I don't understand just slapping a name on something. Because you know what? People like me are going to go, ooh, a Dune movie, and get excited. The average person doesn't know what that means. Yeah. Whatever you paid for the rights to that, it's not going to mean anything to them. You can put anything out, and they'll be okay, because they don't know what it is, because they didn't read it, because it's a 300,000 word book that was published like 50 years ago. You know, and it's just getting really frustrating, especially with the TV shows and everything, all based on books. That's great. That's wonderful. Just keep the heart of the characters alive. That's all I ask for. That's why the Shadowhunter show was good. Because the books are hot trash. I love me some Cassandra Clare. I'm not coming after anybody. I read those books. Those are my kind of trash. But they remembered, like, we got to keep the characters. And they did. And that's why the show worked. I'm sorry. I'm tired of it.
Absolutely makes sense. Okay. So we've been going almost 3 hours. So I figure we probably need to wrap up.
I'm sorry.
Do not apologize. I would have said something sooner if I had to, but like I have another meeting at 6 and the person just messaged me, Glory, where are you, you fool? And I'm like, sorry. I lost track of time. I'm having a lovely time.
You know Charlie and the Forever Streams.
If they were not expecting me at the other meeting at 6, I would stay here all day and just tell Sid, if you got to go, take a nap.
And the last 2 got canceled, by the way.
Yeah, the last 2 have gotten canceled the last 2 weeks because of Hurricane Sally. Excuse me. I hope you enjoy ASMR. And so they're like, where are you? Where are you? We need to talk. Like, okay. I've had a lovely time. I hope everyone else has had a wonderful time. Does anybody have any outros they would like to quickly plug? I mean, I think honestly everybody here has been on Charlie's stream, because that's
except for Sid.
And Sid, would you like to do a quick plug? Please subscribe to Sid. He is down below in the description. He is a bright, shining star of compassion and warmth and intelligence. Okay, believe me, I love the sweet, warm himbos, but Sid is not one of those. Tom is. Tom is my resident himbo. Sid's got the brains.
Well, hi, my name is Sid Pack. I have a YouTube channel. And for those of you who are watching, yes, I was a little bit more quiet today. Why? I don't know. I like learning about, I just dropped the bottle. I like learning about other people, seeing what they like. You know, I learned so much, so I just can't wait to go watch the replay, look at some TV shows, and do some homework. So, yeah, that's it. I was just taking everything, and I promise y'all, I enjoyed it. This is a lovely live show. I got to know more stuff.
I'm glad you had a good time. I am so glad you came here. Like, I've been honestly wanting you to come on our show for a while and have, truth be told, been trying to figure out how to get you here, frankly.
Same
for Charlie. I've been trying to figure out how to get Charlie on my show for a while.
There, you just put breadcrumbs out and go, there's conversation over here.
Well, that is my alarm that keeps going off of Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog to remind me of the meeting, y'all. I'm sorry. Oh, it's just Hot Mess Monday. So next week's show is going to be about autism and self-learning with the very lovely Abigail Ford. She will be joining us. You may recognize her in the chat. And then the week after that, which will be the last of season 1, will be autism and creativity outlets. These are both going to be fun shows. If anybody else would like to join, and I am including Sid and Charlie, anybody wants to know, I will just make up a little Instagram group and I will just put the StreamYard in and y'all can just go, well, hello there. I did not see you, Gloria. I just happened to be walking by StreamYard.
That's what I did.
Because, yeah, these are the fun shows. So anybody wants to come and tell us about your self-learning, your creativity outlets, or just shoot the shit, guess what?
Okay.
Welcome to the Fun Time Show, because that's what this is.
Yes.
Yes. So, Charlie, would you like to give us an outro? You know, it's nice to practice, right?
Oh, my goodness. Hello, my name is Charlie. I write fiction as C.E. Dorset, and I've got a lot of stuff coming out. Everybody's been very nice about my latest story video that was part of the 5-minute anthology, which you can find over on my channel, which is at youtube.com/C.E. Dorset. Pretty sure it's linked below. And yeah, I podcast and do live streams. Way too many live streams.
No, not too many.
The next one will be Wednesday.
So and Sid, don't you have a live stream on Mondays and Fridays too?
Yes, I took a break from the Monday one today because I just needed a little bit of extra rest to take care of myself from work last week. And then, as you guys can tell, I was late to my Friday live stream because a lot was happening. But I will be there this Friday. There's no conflict, no nothing. I will be streaming from 3 to 5 Eastern, right before Charlie, right after Jules. So yeah, you can catch me there if you want to get some writing done.
Does anybody else in the chat, if you know of anyone else's, particularly today or this week, let us know so that we know where to go. We are all about uplifting everybody, especially our writing community, especially our creator community. Black lives matter, trans lives matter, Black trans lives always matter, y'all.
And especially with everything going on right now, contact your senators because our lives are in danger, literally.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. You know, a lot of people don't realize that the way when you contact, if you ever have to contact an elected official, the first thing they do after you contact them is they immediately get on the rolls and see if you voted. They do not know who you voted for. You could vote for Donald Duck and they would have no idea, but they know you signed in to vote. And that weighs whether they're going to listen to what you say or whether they're going to write you off. Because if you didn't vote for the last 4 years, but you're contacting them, well, you don't really matter to them in the way they think of their job. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying that's just how the world is. So go out there and vote. And if you don't like anybody you see on the ballot, I'm not telling you who to vote for. You could literally sign your family, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your best friend in. They won't know.
Vote Papa 2 in this unholy election. He just wants to make America sexy again. Oh, and bring about the end of days, because, you know, we're close enough already, aren't we?
We are going to not be the timeline with the actual apocalypse, y'all. Think it, believe it. This will be the dramatic timeline at the very last minute averts the apocalypse. You know why? Because Glory cannot walk that far in an apocalypse. Okay, I need good shoes and I need thyroid medication, and I'm not going to survive the apocalypse. So this needs to not be the timeline that has the apocalypse. Okay, let's think thoughts. Okay. Let's see. Nikki says I think that's October 2nd at 2 p.m. south of nowhere. Be streaming and sprinting. I think is that 2 p.m. West Coast time, Pacific. Did I miss anybody?
Time zones.
You know, I know. I mean, like, I understand why we need them, but
my anthology video would not have come out on time if it wasn't for the fact that I found out that you can schedule on any time zone that you want. So I put in the time zone that she gave me and went, oh yeah, GMT, there we go. And let YouTube do the conversion for me.
Okay, I think that's all we've got. Thank you all so much for coming. We love you. We appreciate you coming here. We hope you'll come back. And also remember, you can watch us on the replay when you just want somebody to keep you company while you do whatever you do to avert the apocalypse. Thank you so much and good night.